Hi guys, so welcome back to the videos. So in my last few videos, I had explained what uh, balance sheet is, what is a profit and loss account, and what are the components of balance sheet and profit and loss account. However, some people have queries that how exactly the accounting process works, because at the end of the day, the balance sheet and profit and loss accounts are just statements. Sorry, balance sheet is a statement, profit and loss account is account. So how does at the end of the day accounts are being made and how are they prepared? What is the process? So to explain the process, I'm making this video. Now, just to understand the concept that you guys are not going to be accountants. Okay, so don't go too much into detail of like what's happening, everything. You guys have to just basically understand what the balance sheet and profit and loss account looks like and what each transaction is affecting the profit and loss account and balance sheet in which way. Okay, so I've made a few slides. I'll just share my screen and let's quickly get started. I want to keep this session as um short as possible. So I hope you guys can see my screen and you can see me as well. Okay, right. So now the accounting process. So in the accounting process, the entire process starts with journal entries. So firstly, what do we record in the books of account? Not everything. Okay. So let's say I take a decision to buy a land. Okay, that decision is not a transaction. Okay, we record transactions only. So whenever we decide to let's say in the board of directors meeting, I'm deciding to purchase land, that is not a transaction. When I actually purchase land or when I actually pay the person, so these things are transactions. We record only transactions. So in this entire video, I'm going to go through some important transactions and I'm going to show you how these are impacting your profit and loss account and balance sheet, right? So I'll just give you a brief of what happens. Journal entries. These journal entries affect the accounts. Then those accounts are called ledgers. So like every account has a separate ledger, and those journal entries will either be on the debit or credit side of that ledger, and then the balance of the ledger comes in the trial balance, and then the trial balance is used to make the trading manufacturing, which is basically the profit and loss account and balance sheet. So you don't need to know this process, but I'm just for information, I've given you journal entries, ledger posting, trial balance and stuff. So for you guys, the most important part is the profit and loss account and balance sheet. Right now, forget about the statement of changes in equity. I had mentioned in my first video of what are financial statements. In that I mentioned statement of changes in equity and cash flow statement. These are also financial statements, but these are kind of you can say zoomed in versions of the balance sheet. So within the balance sheet you have the equity part, so that changes in equity is covered in that part, and cash flow is basically the changes in the cash. So cash is also an asset and that also comes in the balance sheet. So these are extension of balance sheet in one sense. So you guys have to focus currently on profit and loss account and balance sheet only. Okay. Okay, so the basic thing is profit and loss account. How is it created? Profit and loss account, you have the income, so like revenue from operation, other income, and then you have expenses. So expenses could be like cost of manufacturing, purchase, and then changes in this inventory, finance cost, depreciation, other expenses and stuff. So income, basic thing is income. Expense will either give you profit or loss. If the expense is more than the income, then you'll give loss. If the income is more than the expenses, you'll get profit. Now in the balance sheet side, we have two things. I hope you guys remember this thing. In the balance sheet, we have two things. One is the asset side and the liability side. In the asset side, we'd have current asset, non-current asset. Forget that right now. In the liability side, we have equity and liability. Okay, so basically the assets are what we own and liabilities are what we owe, what we have to give. Okay, so within the liabilities we have two things, equity and liability. Equity is the shareholders fund, which is the owners fund, and liability is the borrowed capital or borrowed fund or any payable, whatever is there. So then again, within liabilities we have current liabilities, non-current liabilities, based on the when you have to pay it back. So that's the, so basically what happens is whatever profit and loss is accrued, that belongs to the owner. For the liabilities, what happens, if I take a loan, I have to pay the interest, so that interest comes under expenses. After doing whatever income, expense, whatever is my profit or loss, I add if it's profit, I add it to the equity. If it's loss, I deduct it and I put it in and I reduce it from my equity, because if I'm incurring losses, the shareholders have to take that loss. So that's why profit is added to equity, loss is deducted from equity. This entire process from one to here, this is called preparation of financial statements, right? I hope this part is clear. I'm just moving on. Now there's something called as the accounting equation, which is based on this principle of double entry bookkeeping. Now what is double entry bookkeeping? Double entry bookkeeping basically says that any transaction will have an impact on the debit side and credit side. Now what is debit side, credit side, don't worry. Okay, so basically they say that whatever transaction will be there, there will be two entries, one on the inflow and one on the outflow. Okay, so generally the inflow is called the debit side and credit side. So don't get into the debit credit part because you'll get confused. So basically what happens, see, any transaction, you take a loan, something comes, something goes. When you take that loan, your or let's say if you take if you buy an asset, easier example, if you buy an asset, what happens? Your asset comes, so you purchase an asset and then you pay cash, so another asset goes. So if something comes into the balance sheet, something has to go out. Okay, think of it like that, that inflow and outflow will be same. Now this accounting equation is basically says that asset equal to equity plus liability. You know, both sides of the balance sheet tallies. Okay, I won't say both side. Now the balance sheet looks like this. Earlier when we used to study it, it was a T-shaped thing, so we used to say both side tallies. But if you see it like this, that equity and liability and then asset, both have to tally. So equity and liability is the source of fund and application of fund, I've already explained. So remember this thing. Now any transaction can have two kinds of impacts. One is that it will only impact the balance sheet, or it will only impact the profit and loss account. Sorry, only impact the balance, impact both the balance sheet and profit and loss account. Generally, there are no transactions which impact only profit and loss account. It's very rare, or I can't think of any right now, but there could be. But generally, it's either only balance sheet or balance sheet and profit and loss account both. Okay, so let's start with a few transactions, very simple transactions, which only affect the balance sheet. Now, case one. So issued share capital. So share capital, whenever the company issues share capital, what happens? I issue the share capital. The people in the market, they want to buy my shares, either market or owners, whoever, they want to buy my shares, they want to give me cash and buy my shares. So in this accounting equation, what is the impact? Asset increases because I get cash from the market. So it's cash increases, and equity increases because I am getting shareholders fund. So on the equity side, equity share capital increases. So you see, and there is no impact on the liability. So you see, whatever will happen will impact the both sides. And I'll show this in every example that I've given. So now if we come to the balance sheet, I'll just zoom out a little so you can see the entire thing. Okay, so in the balance sheet, what happens? Equity and liability, shareholders funds. I'm showing this as per division 1 of schedule 3. So within equity share capital, equities and liabilities, shareholders fund and capital share capital, you have 50 over here. And then there's no non-current liability, no current liability. Then again asset, non-current asset, current asset. Within current asset, you have cash and cash equivalents. 50. It's very important for you guys if you have not yet written down the heading. So very important thing is go and write the balance sheet headings and the profit and loss account headings, because whatever transaction you have to record, you have to record it between on those headings only. You can't make up new headings. Okay, so it's very important to know the order and the headings. So just take a plain piece of paper and write down the components or the things in the balance sheet and profit and loss account. It's very important. Okay, so I've written those things. So because I have no current liability or non-current liability, I have not recorded anything over here. So only my share capital is increasing, cash and cash equivalent is increasing. So both my asset side and liability side both are increasing, and it's always equal. This is very important. It's always equal. And profit and loss account, there was no impact over here because there's no profit and loss. I'm just issuing share capital, right? Case two. Case two is purchase of land, okay, for 20 lakhs and purchase of machinery for 10 lakhs. Now again, just don't think of this. Just look at the equation and think what is happening. So when I purchase land or purchase machinery, machinery is coming, and what is going out? My cash, right? So land and building received, this is the inflow, and cash paid is the outflow. Now, if we try to plot it in the accounting equation, this is what the equation will look like. Now, in the earlier equation, what happened was that there was impact on both sides, on the asset side as well and liability side as well. But it's not necessary that your impact will be on both sides. It could be the impact is on one side and it's getting cancelled out. So see over here what's happening in the I'm purchasing machine and land, so 20 plus 10, it's increasing, and then my cash is going out. So 20 plus 10 minus 30. So this side entire effect is 0, this side entire effect is 0. So you guys are understanding that whatever will happen, the balance will tally, like the equation will always tally. Sorry. Right. So again, if I do the balance sheet, share capital 50, I'm carrying forward it from the previous balance sheet. So it's 50 over here. No, still no current liability, no current non-current liability. Asset, this comes under the heading property, plant, and equipment. Okay. So generally, what happens is in the balance sheet, we only show it as a single line item as PPE or property, plant, equipment, and then here you'll see a note like note 1, and then within the note 1 you'll see like land, machinery, and so on. So just for simplicity, I've written it over here 20 plus 10. So this is increasing, and my cash has gone out, cash and cash equivalent. It's cash and cash equivalent, not YC. So cash and cash equivalent, it was earlier 50, now I paid 30 lakhs, so my balance is 50 again. So 50 and 50 is matching. Hopefully this part is clear. Again, no profit and loss account. Case number 3. Case number 3, what I'm doing is I'm taking a loan from SBI for 10 lakhs. Okay, just the loan, and I'm mortgaging against the land. So here two things are happening. One is I'm taking the loan and I'm mortgaging that loan against my land. Now think of what happens when you take a loan. So you take a loan, so there's a loan component, there's a cash component because you get the cash from the bank, and also here it says that mortgage of land, so something with land. Now you have to think that what's happening. So in cash, I'm getting cash, and my loan is increasing. Sorry, my liability is increasing, so loan over here. Now mortgage is not a transaction, because what happens is when you mortgage a property, you're just giving the property documents to the bank that in case I don't pay the loan, you can sell my land or take over my land, whatever happens. So the transaction is not complete. If I sell the land, that is a transaction because I'm giving away something. Here I'm just giving it as a security. So in that case, it's not a transaction. So that against mortgage of land, this does not have any accounting impact. So I just added this part. I hope this does not this did not confuse you guys, but I'm just showing you guys some transactions which do not have any impact on the accounting. So I'll take the accounting impact of the loan from SBI only. So again, cash equal to this part. Now I've taken 10 lakhs loan. What will happen? Share capital was 50. Now I got a long-term borrowing within non-current liability. Non-current liability, what is non-current liability? Any liability that is more than 12 months is a non-current liability. Any liability which is less than 12 months is a current liability. I'm assuming it's a long-term loan, so it's a long-term borrowing of 10 lakhs over here. Now what will happen on my asset side? In my asset side, PP is the same. Okay. Now what happens is generally when we hypothecate or mortgage any property, I need to tell my shareholders that look, this property, I have taken a loan against this property. It is at a risk that if I don't pay my loan, the bank might take this property away. So just for disclosure purpose, in my notes, when I make my notes to account, I write that land hypothecated against long-term borrowing, so that when my shareholders or any other stakeholder is seeing the balance sheet, they'll know, okay, we have a land, but then that land is at a risk because in case I don't pay the borrowing, this land might not be there. Okay, so this is very important. Like this is a disclosure only, it does not reduce the amount of land or value of land. So in the PPE, again, I'll write a note number 1 over here and make the disclosure 30 this, and then cash. Earlier I had paid and I had 20 lakhs left, and now because I'm taking the loan, I'm getting money this 10 lakhs. So this 10 lakhs will add my cash and I'll get 30. Got it? So again, you see the total 60 and 60 is matching. Understanding till now? Okay. Now let's come to the, so far whatever transaction we did, it was only impacting the balance sheet. Now let's see some transactions which will impact both the profit and loss account and balance sheet. So these are a little bit more critical. So just try to bear with me. I'll explain how. I'll try and explain everything. Okay, just stay with me. Okay. Now see, transactions that affect both profit and loss account and balance sheet. Again, I've just shown you guys that whatever profit and loss is happening, if it's loss, it will get reduced from the equity. If it's profit, it will get added to equity. This is very important, because if you don't do this, if you look at it differently, right, your balance sheet will never tally. Unless you bring that profit and loss from that profit and loss account, your balance sheet will not tally. So it's very important that you, at the end of the profit and loss account, you take the profit and loss account balance into the equity. Now, asset equal to equity plus liability, we had already seen this part. I hope this part has been clear. Now, within equity, what happens is it's my owner's fund. Now, owner's fund will increase if I have profit, and it will decrease if I have loss. Now, this entire thing of profit and loss, how is this changing? Okay, how does this profit and loss account change? If my income is more than my expense, I'll get profit, right? So if I try to modify this equation a little bit, I can write that any income will increase my equity side. So if I'm thinking of the right hand side, okay, if I have any income, that income will increase my equity. So income is, I'm writing it in red because it will increase my equity. So this side, and then any expense will reduce my equity, because if I have any expense, it will ultimately loss, it will increase my losses. So any expense will reduce my equity. I hope this part is clear. Okay, I'm saying it again. Any owner's fund plus profit will increase owner's fund. Any loss will reduce the owner's fund. Now, how do we get profit and loss? It's through income and expenses. If my income is more, it will increase the equity. If my expense is more, it will reduce my equity. So that's why I've written a minus expense. So I'm just bifurcating this equity part into equity plus income minus expenses, and then liability is the same. Now, just so that this negative figure does not come, I'm taking it to the left hand side. I think all the non-commerce people are very good with equations and stuff. So I hope you guys can understand this part, right? So asset plus expenses this side, equity plus income plus liability. So any kind of asset plus equity, this is my outflow side. Expense leads to outflow of assets, outflow of funds. So that's why it's this outflow, and this is the inflow side. I hope this part is clear. I've just added the income and expenses into that accounting equation, right? Alternatively, you can think of this way as that since expenses are, what does expense do? If I incur any expense, if I pay it, my asset will reduce. If I don't pay it, my liability will increase. So like if I incur wages, okay, if I pay the wages, my cash will go down, so my asset will decrease. If I don't pay the wages, I have a liability standing that I have to pay it sometime, so my liability will increase. Similarly, in any income, if I have any income, if I receive that income, I'll get the cash or money, so that is an asset will increase. And if I have not received that money, it will reduce my liability, because sorry, not reduce the liability, it will again create an asset. Okay, so this part is wrong. If I don't receive the income, it will create an asset of asset receivable. Okay, so this is wrong, right? So anyways, I hope this part is clear, how I got asset equal to equity plus liability, and asset plus expenses equal to equity plus income minus liability, plus liability, right? If you want to drink some water or something, have some water, because the next transactions are going to be a little more complicated. But I'll try to finish it as quickly as possible, because I know I don't want to make it a very long video. Okay, take a breathe in, breathe out. Okay, let's go. Okay, now case 4. So case 4, I have taken example of wages paid and revenue from revenue from services. Basically, I'm not taken any manufacturing examples, because again with manufacturing there is a stock thing, and so again it becomes complicated. So just for a thing, just imagine that revenue from services. So I as a service provider, I provide any service to the like, let's say you provide you are an artist, you provide services and you pay wages. Okay, So revenue from services is my revenue, which is my income, and wages paid is my expense. Again, so now we have this accounting equation which we wrote: asset plus expenses equal to equity plus liability plus income. Now for the first expense, let's forget this one for now. Now within expense wages paid, what will happen? I'll pay wages, which is my expense, and when I pay wages, my cash will go out, so my asset will reduce. So here what's happening is asset is reducing, and if I write anything in bracket, that means that it's going out. If it's not in bracket, means it's positive. That's how we do it in accounting. If you write any figure in bracket, means that it's negative. Okay, so cash is going out and wages is being incurred. So again, you see it's a on the left hand side only, and the account and the equation will tally. Don't worry, I'll show you the balance sheet and profit and loss account as well, so don't worry. Now let's take the example of the revenue from services. So revenue from services, what happens? I'll just remove these things. Now with revenue from services, you've received income. Okay, so income is here. Income will increase. Now when you receive money from your sales, you receive cash. So cash is increasing on this side and revenue is increasing, and again you see the account, that equation is telling. Now in the profit and loss account, how do we show this? So this revenue from services 5 lakhs comes over here, revenue from operations. Wages paid 2 lakhs is an other expenses, so 2 lakhs over here, and now the profit becomes 3 lakhs. Now balance sheet, I've taken it from the earlier balance sheet. I hope you guys are following. I'm just showing you guys where the changes are. Okay, so one change is here. I've added the income, I've added the expenses, and I've got the profit. Okay, now this profit, earlier we only had the share capital. Now what happens is when I earn any income, or sorry, when I earn any profit, that profit goes to the reserves and surplus. So if you see the balance sheet, if you see the format of the balance sheet, there below share capital, there's something called reserves and surplus. So this profit goes directly into the reserves and surplus. Again, these are same, total comes to 63. And what happens in the cash and cash equivalent? So I earlier had 30 balance. Now I paid 2 lakhs for the wages and I received 5 lakhs for the income. So ultimately my cash and cash equivalent becomes 33, and again my balance sheet tallies. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Now in this case, what was happening is I was paying the cash, like paying the wages, and I was receiving the money. So ideal situation. But in the real world, it does not happen like that. Okay, you have debtors and creditors. So now I've taken an example of wages, same 2 lakhs, but I have paid only 1 lakh wages and 1 lakh is still due, which I have still to pay. So in this case, what will happen? So wages is, again, see, wages is expenses. So 2 lakhs over here I'll pay. Got it? Earlier what was happening, because I had paid 2 lakhs, it was coming -2 over here, and the equation was telling, but this time I've only paid 1. Now where is the other effect? That other effect is coming in the current liabilities, trade payables, because I have to pay that person. So it could be other payables, trade payables, whatever, wages payable. So here that wages payable is coming. Okay, I know this part is a little bit, might be a little bit tricky. So just try to think of this, like what is happening. See, wages, I have incurred expenses. So one impact is there. Second impact is I paid the cash, but I've only paid 1 lakhs. So where is the rest 1 lakh? That rest 1 lakh I have to pay again, na? So that is creating a liability for me, that I have to pay something. Liability. What is liability? Liability is a present obligation to a past present obligation created by a past event. So it's liability. I have to pay that. Like in future, I have to pay that. So that's why liability is created. Again, you see -1 +2 1. So that entire equation is tallying. Wages, cash bank, trade payables, wages payable. I'll put this in the description. You can access this. Okay. Revenue and sales. So what happens is revenue or sales equal to 5 lakhs is the income. So for example, revenue or sales equal to 5 lakhs. Like the earlier example, I had sold my services for 5 lakhs. Out of that, like most clients, they don't pay the entire thing first. So I have received only 3 lakhs, and then 2 lakhs is receivable, right? So 5 lakhs is my income, same like earlier. Now last time what happened was I got 5 lakhs, but this time I'm not getting 5 lakhs. I am getting only 3 lakhs from the client. So 3 lakhs cash is increasing, and the rest 2 lakhs is my trade receivable, because I am going to get the money eventually, but I'm not received that. It's a receivable, so it's an asset. Earlier what was happening is this was a liability, because it's my liability to pay that person. Okay, so that's why any payable will be a liability, any receivable will be an asset. So asset plus expenses equal to equity plus liability plus income. Now what are the impacts? 5 lakhs is my income, I'll put it over here. Cash 3 lakhs is an asset, and then again trade receivables is also an asset. So again 5 plus 5 equal to is equal. Okay, now what will the impact be of both these transactions in the balance sheet? I'm not going through these parts because, excuse me, I'm not going through these parts because it's the same as the earlier thing. So revenue from operation, other expenses, profit and loss account, same thing. No change in that, because even though I have not received that money from my client, I will book the revenue because I have already provided a service. So I will record that entire revenue. So record revenue from operations, 5 lakhs, entire thing, not only the 3 lakhs, the entire thing. Similarly, expenses, even though I have paid only 1 lakh, I will in my expenses, I will record the entire thing. So other expenses 2 lakhs, and I have got a profit. Profit will go into the reserve surplus. This part is clear, right? Now the change in the balance sheet happens is because current liability, wage payable. So here I had the trade payables. So in my in my liability side, wage payable, generally what happens, wage is paid within 1 or 2 months. So it's less than 12 months. So that's why it's in current liability. So it's in current liability as recorded the wage payable of 1, and in current asset I have recorded the trade receivables of 2. Okay, so this 2, where does this 2 come from here, and this 1 is coming from here. Okay, I hope you guys are following. Now you see the balance sheet changes a little bit and the total changes, but again it's matching. If I go back to the earlier balance sheet over here, you see it was 63, now it's 64, because my wages payable 1 lakhs over here, and my trade receivables is 2 lakhs, and cash, earlier cash was 30, I think 33. Now cash is here 30 plus 1, 30 minus 1 plus 3, because I paid 1 lakhs over here and received 3 lakhs. So 32 over here. Okay, not confused, I hope. समझ आ रहा है? We are almost at the end, last page. Okay, don't skip the video. Okay, depreciation. Now people might be scared, like, my god, depreciation. I don't know why people get scared of depreciation. Okay, not because I'm a CA, that's why I'm not scared, but it's not thing, like, don't worry about it. I'll explain. So what is depreciation? I hope you guys know a little bit. Like, depreciation is basically systematic allocation of the entire expenses. So you have bought a machine. So in my earlier example, I had shown that uh, 10 lakhs I have bought a machine. Now that entire machine that I bought for 10 lakhs, that will be used for the entire period of operations of that machine, not in the first year only. No? If I incur that entire expense in the first year and I put it in the profit and loss account, there will be huge hit in my profit and loss account, which I don't want. I want that is because I'll get revenue from that over a period of time. I'll also charge that expense over a period of time. Now, depreciation has multiple methods. I am taking the method WDV over here, which is generally followed everywhere. There is another method called straight line method, which is simpler, but again, WDV is very important because most people follow WDV. So machinery is depreciated by 15%. So it's a standard rate which is given in the Companies Act. So I'm taking depreciation by 15%. Opening balance of machinery was 10 lakhs, which is my cost of the machinery. Depreciation 15%, 1.5 lakhs. I'm reducing the machinery. Now closing balance is 8.5 lakhs. This closing balance is known as my WDV, which is my written down value of that asset. So WDV, written down value. Again, depreciation you might have heard is a non-cash expense because these depreciation is one of those expenses. Depreciation and amortization are one of those expenses which do not lead to a cash outflow, because if I incur depreciation, my asset goes down, but I don't incur cash expenses. Okay, so that's why you see in the balance sheet what happens. Other expenses, wages payable. See, in case of wages payable or tax payable, any kind of other expenses, what happens is that you either have to pay, either you pay wages now, or sometime 2 months 3 months later you have to pay cash. Ultimately cash pay karna padega, but in case of depreciation it's an expense, but you don't have to pay cash ever. Okay, so that's why depreciation is called a non-cash expense. Again, the accounting equation is here. So what happens in case of depreciation? There's a reduction in value. So 1.5 gets reduced, and then expenses of depreciation is 1.5. Then again you see the left side, right side tallies. LHS equal to RHS, and my balance sheet will tally. Now how I show the impact? Revenue from operations 5 lakhs, earlier example. Depreciation is a separate line item in the expenses. Again I am saying, please go through the balance sheet format in schedule 3 and profit and loss account format in schedule 3, and make sure you know the headings, because it's very important to know the headings. Okay, so depreciation 1.5, other expenses 2, total 3.5, expenses 5, and then 1.5 is my profit. This profit as usual will go into the reserves and surplus. In the balance sheet, shareholders fund not change. Okay, reserves and surplus 1.5, long-term borrowing 10, wages payable 1 from earlier example. And within PPE, what will happen? This will change from 28.5. So generally in the line item of the balance sheet, we generally show it as one line item as PPE, and then there will be a note, and like I've shown over here, there will be a note in the notes to accounts, and in the notes to accounts it will show PPE. So within PPE you have land. Land is not a depreciable asset because land does not deteriorate in value over time. So that's why there's no depreciation for land. For machinery, we have depreciation. So opening WDV was 10 minus depreciation, closing WDV, and we record the closing WDV 28.5. So I've taken this 28.5 from here and I've taken it into PPE. Trade receivable to cash too. There's no impact of cash in the depreciation. So again, 62.5, 62.5, it's again same. Okay. So you see, whatever happens. So ultimately, I'll go back to my initial slide again. Whatever will happen will always follow the accounting equation. Okay, whether you see it as debit credit, whether you see it as inflow outflow, whether you see it as asset equal to equity plus liability, any equation you put it in, always the left hand side will be equal to the right hand side, right? I'm stopping sharing. So I hope you guys have understood this part. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. If you have any transactions you want me to explain in this way, you can also comment it in the description, and I'll try to explain those transactions. I did not want to go too much into detail with like interest on loan, inventory and stuff, which if you want I can go, but because this is the first video that you're getting, I didn't want to go too much into details. So I hope right now you guys are a little bit more like confident about how balance sheet and things works. If you are confused about any example, go back and watch the video. Okay, you might need to watch it multiple times to kind of get the entire gist of the thing. Okay, but don't feel scared. It's very simple. Just try and figure out any transaction is happening, just try and figure out what is happening. Okay, so for example, if I say tax paid, what will happen? Okay, if you say tax paid, what will happen? Tax, I'll pay tax. So firstly, cash is going out because I'm paying tax. So my asset equal to equity plus liability, asset side, cash is going down. Now what is tax? Is tax an expense or what? So it's an expense, so that expense is coming over here. So cash is a negative entry plus plus expense positive entry. So again, left hand side is 0, right hand side is 0. Okay, so just try and figure it out in this way, and I hope everything will be clear going on. Okay, so thank you so much for watching the video. I think still it's like 20 minutes or something, so I hope you guys didn't skip through, or if you're still watching, very good job. And yeah, meet you in the next video. let me know what to make and I'll make those videos. Okay. Best of luck.